Hey guys, we're going to be going over Lake Martin today. Day 1 is already up. We are now going to go over day 2 and 3. I have all my rods and baits out. It was raining yesterday, so I couldn't get them out for the first day. We had to unpack the boat and whatnot. So, I guess let's start with day 2, how it went. I went out there. I was sitting in alright position. I think I was in 30s or 40s, somewhere in there at 11 something on day 1, and I just kind of knew I was going to rotate some of the same areas, but I also wanted to try some new areas. I started on this spot, was rolling my swim bait. We'll go over here in a little bit. This is E-Man diesel minnow, and I was also throwing a other swim bait there. So between the two of them, I was able to really just pick off a lot of fish. But I think what was going on there was a spotted bass, which I was targeting, were spawning. The water, when we started practice, was in the, I would say, upper 50s, and then it got into the 60s, and I think by the time we were done, it was over 66, 67 in some areas. So the water was warming up, those fish were spawning. I was targeting that 6 to 12 foot range when I was targeting those spawning bass with that D-Man diesel minnow. And what I would do is I would just make real long casts with this. I would toss it out there. It's on a 1/4 ounce head, and I'd sink it to the bottom, and I would just slowly crawl it back. You'll see that in the video. Just real slow working it, just keeping it on the bottom. I wanted it to be just ticking along. And what would happen is those spots are so aggressive that when they're on the beds, they would just come over and quick grab this thing. And it was pretty incredible. I caught 3 off my first spot. I caught 3 off my first spot that were over 2 pounds, which a 2-pounder there was gold. 2 of them were on beds, and I actually saw one schooling out in the middle. And I went over there. I was out over 40 foot of water, just waiting with this in my hand. I waited probably 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden I saw them coming up, and I threw out there. And I didn't sink it to the bottom that time. I just kind of started reeling it real slow, and one popped it real hard, and I set the hook and I missed it. He must have not had all of it. And I'm guessing there was a school of them out there. There was probably a few of them. Kept reeling. I caught another 2-pounder. It was on that same cast, so it worked out real well that way. Strong start to the morning. So after that, I was like, I got one spot, had like a 2-pounder on a bed. It was largemouth. I'd messed with it the first day a bunch and could not get this thing to bite. It was driving me crazy. So I went back in there, but I stopped short of it, pretty, I don't know, 50 yards probably, and I took, I'll show you here in 1 second. I don't have this guy out ready, but I was using my other favorite rod here. It's the jackhammer. It's a 721 medium heavy, and I was using a Hayabusa hook. This one was actually used pretty much. I got a whole package here to show you exactly what it is. It's a special wacky wire guard. It's a worm 962 with the guard. It's a 1.0. You can see the hook there in here, but it very good for skipping a wacky worm. I'll pull one out for you here and show you exactly how I was rigging this thing up with the Zinker Z. And color, I don't believe mattered so much. I used a lot of them that were in that green pumpkin color, just because it's natural looking. This one's green pumpkin red. I went through green pumpkin red. I tried a bunch of them, seeing if it would matter, and I don't think there was a whole lot. So here you can see I have it wacky rigged. Awesome being that Elastec. Don't have to put an O-ring on it. That thing will stay on there forever. But being the Elastec, it floats, so you can't just skip it around like a normal stick bait. And what I was doing was taking these little Eco Pro tungsten nail weights, and there was different sizes, but most of the docks I was fishing were 8 foot or less, so I wasn't worried about getting it down super quick. But I'm gonna show you. Let me get these couple back in the bag. But what I would do is take this nail weight, put it right in the end of this, and when I was doing it in the tournament, I would actually rig up a couple of them the night before and take this, I'd shove it in there, and I'd actually super glue it. That way it stayed in there, was ready to go for the next day. I would have a couple on there because eventually they'd get ripped up by those spotted bass. There was a ton of fish on docks. they weren't the easiest ones, or they were the easy ones to catch, but it was hard to get some size. Being that elastic, it is tough to get these in there. You got to really smash it in there, and that's where that little bit of super glue helped keep them in there as well. But just fishing that Nico rig around those docks was good for catching numbers of spotted bass. And when I rolled up on that dock, I actually caught my biggest one of the day. I skipped under there before I got to my largemouth, and I pulled out a 275. It was really bumped up my weight there, and then I caught that one, went back in, kept skipping this around. I was skipping a couple other things up at that largemouth spawning, and could not get it to go. I'm not entirely sure why. I spent the first day, the second day, and I even went there the third day, and I still couldn't get that thing to get bite. And it wasn't anything special, but it was just frustrating at that point that I could not get this thing to bite. But from there, I went and I was gonna run back to where I started in the morning, throw in my diesel minnow, and try to go catch another one off of it. And I was running, and I saw this shoal on my right, on my graph as I was running. I was like, I gotta stop there. Hadn't fished it all week, didn't know anything about it. I set up on it, casting down it long ways and just crawling that little swim bait, and popped another one. It was a good, I think it was 2.5 pounder. Cold me up some more. I had 11 something at that point, and I was sitting in good shape. From there, I was running around some more, and I had one area that I actually caught a limit off of day one in the first thing in the morning, if you watch the video there. And it was just a point, had some riprap, and they were spawning on it, those fish. But I want to show you the shaky head setup I had. There was using two heads. I was originally using, let me grab it so I can say the right thing. It was a Z-Man shaky head. It's the shaky head Z. It was a 1/4 ounce, but I ran out of them. You would get hung up like you would with a shaky head. So I switched to one that I had a bunch of already. Not even sure what brand it is, but I would take it. Same thing as I would with the Z-Man finesse worm. You can see that there. That one's this one's watermelon red. I use mostly green pumpkin, but I ran out of them as well. This is my last one that's actually on this bait. But what I would do is take the worm, I would cut it down, you can see here, and then I would super glue it to the head on both of them, on the Z-Man and whatever this one is here. And that would just let it kind of, when you get those spots biting at it, they would just curl your worm up a lot. And with that way, it would not happen. So it was pretty cool. But this was, I was also throwing on a jackhammer. It's the 721 medium heavy. It's the same rod as I was using for skipping that Wacky Rig Senko. That's an Ardent C-Force 3000 reel. Line is the Ardent Gliss for my main line, and then the right there, that's the Seaguar Tatsu. That's 10-pound test. I was using that on all of them as well. It was just a good all-around combination. So when I got to the shaky head spot, we'll get back to that. First cast I make in there, I catch another 2.5, which ended up being my, I believe, last Cull Fish of the day. And I caught a lot of fish after that. I worked docks, I worked more shoals, but it took all day. But I was able to get up to 12, 13, which is a very, very good bag of spotted bass on Lake Martin. And that pushed me into the top 20, or top 30, I guess, for the Saturday cut. And I believe I was sitting in 23rd. So I was trying to make it up into the top 20. You needed to get into the top 10 to fish the final day. And we'll go over that one in the next video. So here's the highlights of catching those fish from day 2.
Boat 43, Grae buck. Boat 44, Jet 1.
182. Missed him the first time. Not missing him the second time. Not a giant, but we'll take it. Number 3. Freaking hit that kite. Saw him schooling out there. Hit my bait once, missed it, kept reeling it, got him again. Two-pounder. 2 more of those will be in decent shape today. Two and 3/4. Just caught 2 3/4. I didn't realize it flipped over, but he skipped the dock. Look at that trade. All day. Another good trade.
Go ahead and move your boat. Once you weigh your fish, go ahead and move your boat.
Yeah, found two of them.